Hi guys, it's Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner, and today we're going to be playing with the new paper pack of the month from Not Too Shabby. We've got Harvest Glitters and Autumn, my favorite color. Those are okay, so those are the paper packs. I don't know if the ephemera comes with, but I do have an ephemera pack here with all the goodies that go along with it. But even if you don't have an ephemera pack, you have to take a look at this. The papers are just absolutely lovely, but they always include some cut aparts. I believe that is the one set, but you do get 3 copies of them. Isn't that wonderful? And I think what I'm going to do today, I may use some of these as well, but I think what I'm going to do today is I'm going to break out my ScanNCut because I've been meaning to do that for a while, and I'm going to go ahead and cut all of these guys out using my ScanNCut. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and scan this one. I've got the images down on the mat, and we're going to just say direct cut. We don't need to save anything. Just going to use my machine as the device to convert the data. And let's go ahead and scan it. This is about 6 inches, so I'm going to tell it to do the 6 inch. Just hit start. Okay, great. So now you can see the image up there on the mat. I'm going to say OK. And now it wants me to kind of zoom in on everything. So I'm going to just take these little guys here and bring them in. Because the closer to the image that you are, the more likely you're going to get just the image instead of all that extra garbage that the scanner sometimes picks up. That looks pretty good. You can see the little black lines around all of my images. So I'm going to go ahead and say preview. And it looks good, so I'll go ahead and hit OK. Now, one thing I do like to do is add that little bit of white around the edges. You don't have to do that. You can cut right up there, right up to the edge of all of your images. But if your machine happens to be slightly out of alignment, it can cause an issue. So I like to add either 0.04 or 0.08. I'm going to go with the 0.08. So it's going to look more like ephemera or more like a stamped and die cut image. And go ahead and hit OK. And OK, because everything looks good. Now, if anything was not right, we could hit edit and start deleting some things and that sort of thing. But everything looks like it's fine. So I'm going to hit OK. And now we're going to hit please select, and we're going to select to cut because you can do other things besides just cutting with this machine, which is fantastic. I did already do a test cut earlier, but I would say if you need to, you can go ahead and hit test and it will test it. This machine, the SDX 125, is one of the ones with the auto blade, so it automatically adjusts for the paper that is down. However, sometimes it can be off, especially if you do any kind of secret hacks for your for resticking your mats like I have done. It can cause it to not really recognize the height as well as it should. So I'm going to go ahead and hit start because I know it's all good. Okay, so before lifting all of this off, I'm checking it, and it doesn't look like it cut through all the way, so I am going to go ahead and do a second cut. Okay, this is the reason that it didn't cut all the way through. I didn't check, you need to check this, I didn't check my settings on my blade, so let me go back. So when we're here, I can hit this little gear icon here, and it's going to show me my cut speed, pressure, all of that. If you go down a little bit further, it's got this one that says half cut. Half cut is turned on, meaning the last time I used this, I must have been cutting out a sticker. So let's turn half cut off. We're going to leave everything else the same, and we're going to just basically redo the cut. So I'm going to go ahead and hit start. Okay, so let's take a look. And this time, yeah, this time everything cut out perfect. Okay, so now this is good to go. The easiest way to get your images off of your mat is to just gently bend the mat. It is plastic, so it will bend. You don't want to bend it in half or fold it because, yeah, that'll break it. You don't want to do that. But now I've got a bunch of little ephemera pieces to use on my cards. Awesome. Okay, I didn't cut out all of these. Now, these are the ones that I just cut out using my ScanNCut, and you can tell they look edges. Everything is cut really nice, and all the edges look just like they would if you were using, if it were just regular ephemera. So here's all the ephemera that I got also. Now, I did check the website, and you can choose to get the ephemera or not, so it's entirely up to you with the Paper Pad Club. But there's a ton of little guys in here, and all of these, well, except for these two. Don't know why, but all of these came with multiples. These two pumpkins, for some reason, there was only one, but that may have just been my package. Anyhow, there's a bunch of fun fall things in here, and they're going to go great with the paper. So now I have to decide, what do I want to make, right? I've kind of got an idea of what I want to do, and so what I've done is I've gone back and pulled out a couple of stamp sets from I think these are from last year. Don't know that they're available, but you can use whatever sentiments call to you, whatever you've got in your stash. I'm going to use this one that says, hey there pumpkin, because I think it's cute, and I'm going to stamp this down on some brown cardstock. I think this is a scrap of craft, and not 100% sure, so I may do a couple of them, but I'm starting off with some Bee Sting from Simon Hurley. I normally stamp out my sentiments in black ink, and this time around I'm going with more of a fall color I also never stamp onto brown cardstock, but I'm going to give this one a shot and see how it turns out for this sentiment here. And then I wanted to heat emboss it, so if I get it on here quick enough, yes, looks like I got it on there quick enough. Simon Hurley's ink does dry pretty quick, and I lucked out. I actually got it on there quick enough this time. If it hadn't worked, all I would need to do is go over it with some embossing ink. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to heat that up until it is all glossy, and we'll have our sentiment pretty much done. So I'm back at the ScanNCut, and I am going to attempt to cut this one out using my ScanNCut instead of fussy cutting it. Now the issue is that because it's not a continuous, it's not a continuous line all the way around, it might not work. So let's take a look and see how that is. Go ahead and scan it in. Okay, we'll go ahead and hit the OK button and try moving all of the stuff in to just that image on that brown cardstock and see how it does. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. I'll do a preview. And I'm going to use the little spyglass here, the magnifying glass, to see what it actually looks like. So going at 200%, it does look pretty good. So if I give it an offset, I think it's going to just cut out around my entire sentiment. So we're going to give it a shot. I'll hit OK. And now I'm going to add my offset. And just like I did the last time, I'm going to go with 0.08. And then let's take a look and see what it actually looks like. I'm going to hit the edit button. We're going to use the magnifying glass again. I'm going to zoom in some more. And taking a look at that, I don't see any cuts that aren't supposed to be there, so that's going to be perfect. It's actually going to work right. And we're going to go ahead and get started. I'll hit OK to get out of this box because I can make changes if I need to, but I don't need to. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Please select. We're going to say cut. And this time it should already be. Oh, here's another thing. Right here where it says half cut, you can see whether or not you have half cut turned on. I didn't really look at it. So I also have the speed down pretty low. You can have it higher if you need to. It is kind of just seeing what's going to work with what cardstock. This is a thicker cardstock, so I think I'm going to add a little bit extra pressure just to be on the safe side. And we are going to go ahead and cut. And you notice that it's cutting a second time. That's because the blade could tell, you know, I think I didn't cut quite through enough, so it's going over it one more time, kind of like what we did manually the last time, to make sure it cuts through this piece of thicker cardstock. Okay, it says that it's done, so let's take a look. Looks like it cut out perfect. So let's take a look at that sentiment. I love it. Kind of decided that this is a little bit dark for the rest of the image. So I'm adding a white pencil. This is a watercolor pencil from Tim Holtz. It is Pick and Mess. I'm not going to use it for watercoloring. I'm using it right now just for its colored pencil aspects, and I'm actually adding some white over a lot of different areas to try to just brighten up that darker, you know, that kind of that darker brownish image. Not going to mess around with the area around the sentiment. I am just doing my pumpkin and the pumpkin stem. This is also another experiment because I really don't do this much. But I think this is going to work. And now I'm going to get out a green and an orange. Okay, so this one we've got spiced marmalade, I think will be good. We've got sparse marmalade, we've got barn door, and I also have in this one, I think I've got a darker orange. Yes, I do. Which is Crackling Campfire. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a try with those three. Starting off, actually here's another one. Yeah, there's Barn Door. So I'm just trying to pick out my oranges. I'm going to start off with the lightest and just add some of that color in and see if that actually makes a difference. If I need to, I probably will still come in with some of the others just to get a little bit of shadow and shading. Because if I'm coloring, why not, right? So now we do have some orange there. And I think it already is looking better. Okay, so let's add a little bit of the darker around those ridges, right? And then I'll come in with the medium and just pull some of that color out. I think that's looking good. And then I think I'm going to also come back in with my lightest, same way that I would with my alcohol markers. And this here tells me that I do kind of want to practice with my colored pencils again. I'll have to dig them out because these are layering up nice. Okay, it seems like they are doing kind of a little bit of a blend there without having to put too much effort in. So the orange part on here looks pretty good. Next, I'm going to come in with some greens for the stem. And since it's all over the brown of the cardstock, it should wind up making it look kind of a fallish color regardless of the green that I use. So I've got some peeled paint and I've got Rustic Wilderness, so I'll do the same kind of thing. It's already got the white down, which is picket fence. I'm coming in with the peeled paint. And then we'll come down here at the bottom with the Rustic Wilderness. And then come back with the peeled paint again over the top to kind of push back some of that darkness. And I think that's going to work. So now I just need to put my card together. So I cut some little strips off of a piece of the gold pattern paper. There's actually lots of different colors in that pattern paper pack. Some are lighter, some are darker. I'm going with the darker because I think it goes well with those dark burnt orangey colors that are in the other piece of pattern paper. And this is going to be kind of a little accent. So I'm going to glue that down near the edge, give it, about a quarter of an inch, a little less maybe. Just a little bit of that background craft cardstock visible. And I'll do the same thing at the top. Give that little strip. And I am letting these just kind of overlap the edges. I'll just trim everything down when I get done. For this main panel, I trimmed another piece of the cardstock in half. So these are two pieces of the same. This is one piece of cardstock. I just cut it in half. So I've got two 3-inch strips, and I'm going to use one of these to go down the center of my card. And I'm going to pop that up on some foam. And I almost forgot, I'm going to be trimming off some of this, so I don't need the whole strip there, right? And I kind of want the flowers to be at the bottom, so that's where I'm going to put them. And kind of center that between my two strips of glitter. There we go. And then I can trim off the edges. I'm just going to bring out my paper trimmer for that. So I think that's going to be pretty cute. Let's go ahead and add the flower down. And then I'll put my sentiment. And now that I've got this stuff glued down, I kind of want to see about adding some of the wheat behind it. So I'm going to go ahead and add a couple pieces. Luckily it hasn't completely adhered down, but it's pretty close. So I'm just going to add a couple of these, and they're just a little bit of accents. Okay. I like that. And I'm going to go ahead and just glue her down. And that's going to finish up this fun fall card. You guys have a wonderful day. Be sure to check out this playlist to see some more videos where I'm using not too shabby shop products. And I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.